French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte are both set to give evidence in a U.S. court to prove that the French First Lady is, in fact, a woman.
This all started when the French First Family sued conservative commentator Candace Owens back in July for repeatedly alleging Brigitte was born a man. Here's Owens' response to the suit back then.
Frankly, I find this all to be irresistible and delicious. My lawyer being able to sit across and ask Brigitte Macron questions about her penis. Brigitte would then be compelled for the first time to answer them under oath, revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle.
Well, Owens may get her wish. According to the Macron's attorney, there will be, quote, expert testimony that will come out that will be scientific in nature. He went on to say that the couple is ready to demonstrate both generically and specifically that the allegations are false. Their attorney didn't elaborate exactly on what that would look like beyond pictures of Brigitte when she was pregnant with her kids. Well, that would be pretty good evidence, I would think. At first, when people found out that there was going to be scientific and photographic evidence offered, I was like, I think if I were on the jury, I might have to call in sick that day.
This is so weird.
It's so weird.
This is so weird. I literally had to ask our producer, Louis, can you break down why Candace is so obsessed with this? I mean, there's like so much going on to be like meat and potatoes for conversations regarding conservative commentators right now. Brigitte Macron and whether she's a man and proving, and the fact that, you know, I don't know. You don't have to go high as a president, as President Trump has so graciously shown us. But you don't have to stoop down and answer any podcaster about whether or not your gender is male or female.
No, but they wanna make her hurt, right? Like they want to make her pay the lawyer's fees. They want her to get held in contempt.
Oh, that's what you think this is about, just to make Candace Owens suffer through all this. Got it. Okay.
They want to punish her.
Because I'm like, why? What does it benefit you?
Yeah, they want to punish her for making these accusations. They want to present the evidence, not only put the issue to bed for all the conspiracy theorists, but most importantly, I think they really want Candace to have to go through this humiliation ritual if and when it proves out that she was lying about Brigitte Macron's gender. And plus, I think this is all a distraction from the fact that the real issue people should have with Brigitte Macron is that she was Emmanuel's teacher, right? And allegedly groomed him when he was a young boy, and now they're married, and it's really strange. And the age gap isn't so strange at the age they are now, but when you consider how they met, it is very concerning.
Let me tell you something. I had plenty of teachers. Mr. Thomas, Miss whomever. If I see you from now, I could be 60 years old. You're still Mr. Thomas. I'm not gonna holler at you. This just we're done with that. Like, you were my teacher. You always are my teacher, single or not in a relationship. Like, that is the weirdest thing in the world.
It would be like dating your parents' friend.
Right. It's just that to me. There's just, and I know once you're older, everything is just like, you know, you're adults. But it's still always going to be weird to me. I just think if Candace Owens, and mind you, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody out there following it super closely, but just present the evidence that she's a man in full. Like, break it down and just tell us why we should believe you. And you have pictures. Do you have photos? Do you have scientifically proven evidence, Candace? Because if you do, just put it out there. We can put this to bed. And like, why does it have to go to court? She's like so obsessed with this that I'm like, just show what you know. Just share every single piece of detail so we can really be done. Because I haven't seen any concrete evidence, and then now she's getting taken to court, and this is all like, why do I need to know this about this woman? Or man, because either way, if her husband wants to be with her, then what are we talking about? Like, what does it matter? They're both adults that are consenting. Like, so why is this relevant to anyone? I mean, I know she's trying to tie it to a larger issue of like, I don't know, like this weird people in power with sexual weird fetishes or something. Elite,
sexual deviant cabals or something.
Yes. And I just think that, you know, as somebody who has seen the recent video on aliens and do believe we have friends out there.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm on board with you.
Yes.
That this is just random. And even for me, this is like, come on, man. Look, okay, this could just be a lady.
I think it's annoying because what often happens is that, and I think this is less the case recently, like in the past 6 months to a year or so, But previously, Candace would pop off and say something kind of crazy, and then she was lumped in with the entire conservative movement. And it's like, well, this is what your person is saying. But now she's so independent and not affiliated with anyone that I don't think that happens quite as frequently. But it's just, to have to even talk about this is obnoxious. The evidence that she has presented is basically like sources who've seen her, Brigitte Macron, without pants on, and like people who were doctors of hers, allegedly, who obviously she hasn't revealed who those people are. So they could be anybody.
Yeah, I hate it.
And then also,
unnamed source.
And then also there's like pictures of a child that looks like a boy when they're young, and like allegedly that's Brigitte, and she's like hiding her yearbook photos. I don't know. It's all very like tenuous and vague. And there's not much specific detail, which is why people are like, what are you doing?
So earlier this week, I was talking to Robbie, and I found out that he is not a fan of Candace Owens, which I didn't know. I just didn't know. I wasn't surprised or anything. I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't know. I wanted to know your thoughts, and then also what the breakaway was. Like, what was it, because she started people saying being too harsh towards Israel during this war? What was the big breakaway that made it seem like Candace Owens is all of a sudden not part of the MAGA movement or conservative party?
Well, for me, it started back in 2017 or 2018. Her team actually approached me to write a story about claims that BuzzFeed News employees were threatening her former employees of a website called Social Autopsy, where she was basically creating like a database of people who had engaged in alleged hate speech. This was before she became a conservative. This was when she still identified as part of the left. I was able to review the communications from the BuzzFeed reporters, and like, I'm not a BuzzFeed News defender, but you know, I was just doing basic due diligence. Yeah. And the emails were not threatening at all. They were just standard requests for comment. So I went back to Candace and her team, and I was like, can I maybe talk to the people who said that they were threatened? And she said, well, no, because they were under 18 when the threatening happened. I'm like, but they're not under 18 now, so there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to talk to me. And she just was like very resistant to the idea, wouldn't offer me any evidence that these people had been threatened, and I can't run on hearsay.
Right.
So I published a story with the request for comment from BuzzFeed News, and she was livid that I did the story and like followed whatever evidence I could. And so at that point, I had suspicions that she was not maybe the most honest person. And over time, I think people who worked with her started to see the sort of erratic behavior, the manipulation of facts and the truth. And then eventually when she split from Turning Point and the Daily Wire and went to do her own independent show, when she was not sort of reined in from, editors and things like that, it started to kind of go off the rails in terms of claims that she was making. And like, I don't think that it's really about the Israel stuff, because we've seen plenty of right-wing commentators take a similar tact on that as she has. I mean, Tucker Carlson is a great example.
I was going to say Tucker Carlson.
But it's more just like the general, I think, willingness to kind of stretch things to places that she doesn't really have facts to back up.
Got it. So it's feeling kind of performative. I actually just, so a lot of times, like when stuff gets outrageous, I just pay little attention. I just try to get to what's the actual story. And so I haven't asked a lot of my conservative friends like what they feel now. I know maybe their feelings 4 or 5 years ago, but now I'm like, it's just kind of like I don't know. Robbie always says that people sometimes are like this blended, like you have this one, and even like the conversations we're having, somebody has like this one far right idea and now one far left, and it's like the people who voted for Bernie Sanders, will say like Joe Rogan, will also support someone like Trump, and it's kind of like
horseshoe theory.
Yeah, a lot of people are like moved off. So I was trying to figure out where to place her or what to do. Like
I don't even know where to place her.
Okay, so it's just, and because this Macron story really threw me off, to bring us full circle. We just she just feels all over the place, and I just wish she would just focus on something else, because there's a lot to talk about in this country. We'll have more for you guys after this. Not this story again.